and one should not be surprised. The same thing Buhari did. When Buhari came into power, after winning 2015, before 2019, he didn't sign any electoral acts that would threaten his re-election bid. He did not. He didn't sign it. He gave different excuses. There was no electoral before 2019 re-election, which he won. So, in many ways, President Tinubu is using that Buhari's playbook. Understand? But President Tinubu he didn't follow the Buhari route. Buhari would have said, I won't sign, I won't sign. And then before you know, it's time for election, and you say, time has already passed. Tinubu plays a longer game and kind of, you call it evil genius, or plays a more smarter game where you are led along to believe that things are happening. Things will happen. This time around, electoral reform is going to happen. It's going to happen. The senators are in agreement. The House of Rep are in agreement. Then boom, boom, you just see that. You just see when it's time for them to approve the final thing, you just see the insert a clause. I know electronic transmission is have been approved. But in case electronic transmission doesn't happen, you can go use manual. So yeah, election day, as Mike Igini said, the network will not work. The transmission will not happen. And then you now rely on papers, manual copy that can be manipulated and stuff like that, and results printed beforehand and stuff like that. I listened to Mike Igini's interview. He spoke passionately. Mike Igini was one of those I listened very well to before the 2023 elections. He spoke very well. He's a lawyer, former INEC official. He's a very passionate person. He speaks with a lot of conviction and all of that. I listened to him very well before 2023 elections, and I was really disappointed the way 2023 elections went, and I was kind of disappointed with the way Mike Igini spoke after that 2023 elections. Things really went bad. Things really went bad with that IREV, with that server something not working and stuff like that. I expected a stronger condemnation from Mike Igini then. But I don't really get it. I don't really get it. He has said he went into hibernation for 2 years, doesn't want to talk and all that. I understand he felt used. Yes, Mike Igini would feel used. If I'm Mike Igini, I would feel used because I was a proponent of something, and election day, something else happened and all that. I feel very used. A lot of people had trust in the process because they listened to Mike Igini. A lot of people traveled from overseas, came back to Nigeria to vote because they had that trust, and all of that. And on election day, when things, so it's a good thing Mike Igini is speaking up now. It's a good thing. It's just that, after that 20 elections, I didn't hear from Mike Igini for some time. It took him a while before he spoke, and all that. I just want to say that me, I'm more of saying it as it is. I'm more of a truth person, saying it as it is. Understand? Yes, sometimes you can't say everything, but then you can't ask me to go and talk about elections. I'll go on radio stations, go on television stations, go to different programs, say this was going to happen. Then that day it didn't happen. They expect me to keep quiet about it. Nah. Yes, I could feel used, but then I have to make it clear that this is not what you advocated for. Now something markedly different took place. And the elections that have happened after that 2020 elections, the ones that off cycle that happened in Bayelsa, in Imo, in Kogi State, you know, it was terrible. It was terrible. And as such, things really went downhill. After 2023 elections, subsequent elections, things really went downhill. And a lot of trust was lost, a lot of trust deficit and all that. A lot of harm was done to public perception of INEC, really got very poor, very poor. So, Mike Guinea speaking his own private personal capacity and all that, I feel he has done well in when he was in office as an INEC official. He has done well. And in terms of explaining what INEC role and all that, he does well in explaining all of that. But something broke. Something broke with that 2020 election. Something broke. Something really broke. And some haven't really recovered from the shock of what took place in 2023 elections. So, you know, the Electoral Reform Act has been signed into law by the president, you know. So there's not really see much, nothing really much can be said about that now. The only thing I think would happen is when there's pressure, the pressure from especially for foreign powers. Those days what used to happen is that you have the US forefront of democracy, Europe, and all that. So you have opposition leaders used to go and talk to foreign powers. The kind of pressure you expect from foreign powers is not pressure to subvert elections. No, it's the pressure on the government to ensure that the electoral body is allowed independence, that the elections is free, fair, and transparent, that due process is followed, and that the elections are violence free, and that people who are conducting elections are protected and all that. Because you see that there is usually this visa ban. If after elections those responsible for the violence are banned from going to those countries and all that, that is the kind of pressure. And you need a concerted, a cohesive opposition to push for that. And now we don't have that. So the way things are going, 2027 rather is looking like it's going to be a coronation and not a contest. But then again, can be surprised. So we just hope for the best.